Hey, I'm Kev, Mr. Cole. Welcome back to MotoGP 17 and the Rider career as Patrick McDonald was flying on his KTM debut in Catalonia and around the Netherlands. Well, can you continue in this episode, beginning the last race of the first half of the season round the Sachsenring in Germany. As we are going down the back street out of the waterfall towards the final couple of corners round this very short and unusual Sachsenring circuit on the KTM. Let's see what Patrick McDonald can do on his two qualifying efforts. He's been very good so far. And he's propelled himself into the championship lead just with Franco Morbidelli. As we go towards the first corner, going downhill. Oh, he's already messed up this lap though. Outbraked himself by a country mile. So easy to do that out of that straight. You think you've got to brake a bit later than you do. And that has caught out McDonald on his first effort, but he's still got one effort in the bag. Let's see, he built himself, composed himself for that effort on the remainder of this lap. But yeah, he's been flying today on that Interwetter machine. And then we'll switch to KTM. He's just fitted like a glove. I'm sure Miguel Oliveira is very happy about that. McDonald has been flying. And it looks like it may become a two-horse battle, this title. With Marquez dropping back slightly, Oliveira as well. Almost two race wins behind his new teammate in the championship. Marquez just over a race win behind. And then Morbidelli just 9 points back. That's the difference between third and first. If I got my points and remember my points correctly. 25 for the win, 20 for second, 16 for third. There we go, second effort. Let's see if Patrick McDonald can nail this and grab another pole. As we go, braking before it goes downhill. Braking so early. Even then, rear tyre's not liking it as the Grassini comes out the pits. Jorge Navarro. Luti with the fast at 24-1. And McDonald almost 0.4 of a second down in his ex-teammate. But you can see how far off his first ever is thanks to running wide. 2.3 seconds. And the front runners will be flirting with the 23s maybe. And Luti's always there or thereabouts with pole. They're a quarter of a second behind. Now he's gained back some time. There we go, over the ridge. Make sure you're not getting that rear end too far out. Got to carry momentum through the waterfall onto this back straight. And look at almost a second up. McDonald nailed that section. And now the final couple of corners, very tricky. That banana corner, very bumpy, and then uphill into the last corner. Can create so much speed, more than you think you can. With a smooth exit, but just a 22.9 as he crowds by a country mile. I was talking about the 23s, well, 23.7 from Marquez and Morbidelli. Look at the exact same time for the Mark VDS twins behind, but 22.9 from McDonald just nailed that penultimate sector, which really propelled him to another pole. With Luti leading the second row ahead of Oliveira and Passini, then Baldassari, Nakagami, Shirota and Xavi ran out the top 10 with Ika at the back. So let's see what Patrick McDonald can do in the race. As we look at the grid with Owen still at the top with his teammate Oliveira in the middle of the second row. Looking outside the top 10, Danny Kent in 11th. Luca Marini in 12th, got home here, Shirota there in the top 10. Looking further back, you'll see again another one of McDonald's ex-teammates, Cortez in 21st, very happy. As they are revving up the engine, waiting for the lights to appear. And go out for this 8-lap race. Let's see if these medium tyres will hold up. Let's see if McDonald can hold up into this first corner. We'll want to push it, but he's gone slightly wide. Will that allow Marquez through? It will. Will it allow Morbidelli through? Well, Morbidelli leads, Marquez in second, and there's Passini with another electric start for the Italian. And he sneaks by into third, does he? McDonald really does not want to give it up. He wants to keep these Mark VDS bikes within sight, within touching distance. He goes down the inside of Marquez. Going to run wide into the left-hander. Looks like he's holding off from the Spaniard, but then he runs very wide. But he does hold off from Bassini, does he? Into the left-hander, gets pushed slightly wide by the Italian. Now here comes Baldassari. Haven't seen the Italian for a few races at the front. But he's trying to make a comeback. As Madonna goes past Bassini and Marquez through that sector. And now he's got to run down the back straight on Franco Morbidelli. We're going to have another battle on our hands to Trine, the reigning champion. And the current championship leader. He's going to the final corner for the first lap of 8. Bit of a longer race here, but again, the lap is so short, the circuit is so short. There's Bassini up to third ahead of Marquez. But he does want a podium. Marquez being ambushed by Oliveira as well, down to 5th for the Spaniard. Oliveira up to third with a section down that front stretch into the first corner. Past Bassini, who's a second back of the top 2 you are seeing in front of you. As the Italian gets back past his Portuguese rival. Morbidelli did the fast down to open at 24.9 for the Italian. Well, let's see what Madonna will do. Will he wait till the final lap like he did in Assen? Well, I say wait, he did try and get past the Italian. It just took a heck of a long time. Much longer than he expected. Now these two are just pulling away from Bassini. 1.4 seconds now. There you go over the hill. Over the brow. Oh, he gets into the back of Morbidelli. Livio up to third ahead of Bassini. McDonald's through. Will be called back by the stewards for his NASCAR move there. The old bump and run. Don't normally do that on a motorbike. He does run right in the penultimate corner anyway though. And that allows Morbidelli back by. He goes towards the final corner. As we've got Bassini in third ahead of Oliveira. Oh, it's a battle like a hell for the podium already. Well, Morbidelli and Madonna just getting into it, getting loosened up for this battle. And the first exchange there. A bit unfair from McDonald. As he gets down the inside of Morbidelli into the left. Now into the right. Going slightly wide. And they got 1.5 second gap behind to Bassini. McDonald very scruffy through the right hander though. Using this on track he shouldn't. He's now going to the left. So easy to do that now right-handed because you've got to wait so long to get on the power. You've got to carry so much speed into the corner, carry momentum through that very long radius. And then see he's now over half a second behind Morbidelli, runs wide into the left-hand as well. Doesn't want to have Bassini charging up towards him. Dragging his teammate along with him. Oliveira. And you've got Marquez as well. It's all almost into the back of Morbidelli. This time McDonald goes round the outside. He makes it work in the waterfall. Can he make it work into penultimate corner? No, runs wide over the bumps. There's Morbidelli back by. We make a move into the final corner. Not really overtaking spot because the braking zone's so short. Being uphill. So they're back ahead of Bassini. But 1.5 seconds behind this battling pair. It's not quite like Assen, as we don't have Marquez in the battle, do we? There's the Spaniard up to 4th ahead of Bassini. It's on this 4th, the laps are ticking by. Madonna is still staring at a Mark VDS bike. He must be sick of the sight of this. As it looks like the helicopter bike is just giving up for this race. He's hovering outside of the circuit to the right hand side. Probably just picking out his favourite fans in the crowd. As we go through the left-hander. Now the succession of fast lefts. Now McDonald isn't good into this left-hander. No, it's this left-hander over the brow of the hill. Where he's got this KTM set up beautifully. He's very confident. Goes down the inside of Morbidelli as well into that left. Now down onto the back straight through the right-hander. Is he breaking away already? So let's see who can hold on into his penultimate corner though. Hasn't been hitting the apex. Hasn't really been hitting it there, but that's close enough. It hasn't allowed Morbidelli to go back by him. So heading into the second of the race, are we seeing Patrick McDonald ride away from his title rival once again? As he does a 24-1, his fastest lap so far. Yeah, he's almost a second out of Morbidelli already. He has definitely pulled the pin. Once again, his middle laps. Again, proving to be strong. The Moto2 bike. No, he ran a bit wide into that left hander. He's a second out of Morbidelli now. I think he's been done with the plane. His prey. Now he's pounced. Now he's running away. Again in a challenge, this only gains him 5 points over Morbidelli though. Carrying well within striking distance. You'd much rather have a lead like Morbidelli had last season, where he built up a lead or over a race win and then just about held on to it till the end. That's what Don will be aiming to do in the first part of the second half of the season. And we'll see if he'll stick with KTM as well. No doubt he will after these races. He's going to be very strong, 2.8 ahead of Morbidelli. He is just racing away on his fifth lap. As the next like helicopter pilots found the circuit, hovering over the start-finish straight, and they got a 23.3. That's good enough for pole. As he's 2.8 ahead of Morbidelli. World is in the zone once again on this KTM. Trying to make it a hat-trick of wins in a row on the Austrian bike. Make it 5 in a row, including his last 2 races on the Calyx. Winter Witten has. That's an unusual line once again from McDonald through the fast right. And he gains over 3/10 of a second penalty. But I don't think he'll be worrying about that at the end of the race. He continues to ride like this. So taking a very tight line through that left-hander. But also in the challenge, you got to think about Marquez finishing way down. Well, relatively speaking, in 4th. Behind Oliveira. And so once again, the KTM guys getting one up on that Mark VDS, boys. He goes down this patch straight, 2.8 ahead of Morbidelli. So good from McDonald. And with Marquez finishing down, as I said, he'd be almost 2 race wins behind then into the second half of the season. And Oliveira will be around 2 race wins behind. So very much will be a 2-horse race into the second half of this season. This title bout between Morbidelli and McDonald. And you can see why the Kenny went to KTM, why KTM wanted him. With rides like this. With rides like Assen. Like Barcelona, Catalonia. So once again taking an unusual line in that right-hander. But still 2.5 ahead of Morbidelli on this penultimate lap. But he's got to sort that out on the final lap though, taking that line for that right-hander. Just doesn't seem to be carrying the speed into the corner. Definitely his weak point. Is that round here, this first half of the lap. Before it starts to open up through these left-handers. And Morbidelli's gaining. 2.1 back now for the Italian. The reigning champ. Let's go for the right onto the back straight. That's a good smooth run onto it. And there you go, he's built up the lead again to 3.5 as you go through the low rider corner with so many bumps. As Remy Gardner, the Australian, it's on a 500cc champ Wayne. He is down on his Tech 3 from 13th. He's going to score good points for once this season. And that's now off the cards. But our home favourite Cortese to get some points. Again, another ex-Moto3 champ as well. And you've got Shirota as well, hopefully picking up some points. The teammates, the Dynavolt. Ex-team, of course, of McDonald, the team he started off in Moto2 with. Well, he's come a long way since then. Trying to get victories with that Suter. He's gone to the Calyx, now he's on the KTM. And who knows what it's going to be on the final third of the season. Could it be a Tech 3? Could it be even a speed up? How course he's performing on that speed up, you never know. And you also got Xavi on the Tech 3. Performing very well. Gardner, as you saw, getting in the points, but all might mean need more than points in the final third of the season. But you never know if he continues this form, he might not. He just continues winning as he goes into the penultimate corner of the race. Almost a 5-second lead over Morbidelli. He's just been a class of 1 in the second half of this race. As you go for the final corner, going slightly wide, McDonald makes it 5 in a row. And a hat-trick on the KTM. He is unbeatable at the moment. What a match made in heaven. As he's 3.7 seconds ahead of Morbidelli, even with that time penalty. And of course, he did the fastest lap. With Olivia once again making a double KTM podium in third ahead of Marcus by 0.6 of a second. You've got Piscini in 5th, Luti 6th, Nakagami 7th, Savi 8th, Marini 9th, Courtois 10th, Agata 11th, Bagnaia 12th, Axel Pons 13th, Bagnaia 14th, and Corsi scoring the final point ahead of Shirota by around half a second. What have you done, Azarian? With Jorge Navarro at the back. So in the championship at the halfway mark of the season, Patrick McDonald leads Franco Morbidelli by 14 points, with Alex Marquez in third, 43 points behind and just 6 points ahead. Miguel Oliveira almost 2 race wins behind his KTM teammate, with Piscini in fifth, 3 points ahead of Thomas Luthi. They've been very close all season long so far, with Baldassari in 7th, Bagnaia in 8th, Sabi in 9th, and Nakagami rounding out the top 10 of Marini, Agata, Quartararo, Simone Corsi in 14th with 20 points on that speed up. 10 points ahead of Axel Pons, who's climbed ahead of Danny Kent in the championship. With Sandro Cortez, Alex Vinales, Marcel Schwarzer, Remy Gardner, and Brad Binder also scoring points so far this season. 21 out of 33 riders, with Nakashima up to 25th ahead of Johnny Hernandez and Axel Bassani, with Andrea Locatelli at the back. So in the constructors standards, a 45-point gap between KTM and Kalex. The Tech 3 in third, 23 points ahead of Suter, who are 20 points ahead of Speed Up. He must be getting used to this feeling. Another victory in Moto2, another victory on the KTM, another party for the clones to get drunk at and not remember where they are the next day. As once again Morbidelli and Olivia exchanging raw battles in the background. Probably getting bored of seeing this guy celebrating wins. Has is another perfect weekend. And let's see if it can continue into the second half of the season, beginning with the Brno circuit in the Czech Republic. So here we have Patrick McDonald giving up for 2 laps around this very long Brno circuit. While the wave of confidence very few riders are able to achieve or get, with 5 consecutive victories in a row. Let's see what he can do. And this Czech Republic circuit, it is a pretty fast. A couple of places, some long radius corners like this first corner. You can take so many lines through it. And you also have the tight and twisty middle sector. As you go onto the back straight, this first section, very good for passing. Especially into this left-hander, as you can see with McDonald, where the rear can get out under braking. Especially into this right-hander as well. Just about holds on. Now down the hill into this tight middle sector. It can be for the leader unless you do run wide. You do have to be in a good rhythm in this middle sector to make it to work. Especially you've got the fans staring all around you as well. You're in there like a bowl. Here through the left-hander. Wave to the fans. And down the second to go into the left-hander, which exits that corner, that section. And then into the right as you now go up the hill. And then downhill into another tricky braking zone, this right-hander. Bit like that first corner at the Saxon Ring. It's set. Not as devious. And not as dramatic. Fall down as well. The elevation is now going into the left-hander. Going up the hill into the right. Don't brake for that corner. Just carry the bike through it. Then hard on the power. Just a couple of corners to go for Patrick on his first effort. Going into the left-hander. Braking a bit early maybe. hitting the apex. In the final corner, slight dab of the brakes. And just accelerate away. Hopefully be under the 2-minute mark. 1:58.5. That's a pretty decent lap time. Because he can go even faster on his second effort as he's got guys exiting the pits now. Including his teammate. It's that Binder Oliveira. Wherever it is, they're going to give him a nice slipstream down this back straight. And into the left-hander. Hope he doesn't outbrake himself into it though. As he eases down the inside of his teammate. So thanks for the slipstream, I'll take it from here. But still around the same mark of his first lap. They didn't really gain anything really from that. It's now into the right. Oh, that's very nicely hooked up. He's looking in superb form, McDonald. As I said, full of confidence. They're not all the apexes. Not really putting a foot wrong this lap. Even under braking for that left-hander where the rear end was bucking like a Bronco in the previous lap. Had that hooked up and they got 7/10 up of his previous lap. This could be a 57. As you go downhill, into the right. But going slightly wide through the middle part. Be able to gather it all up on the exit. Now uphill. Into the left. Into the right. Giving all that curb. And still 7/10 up heading into the final couple of corners. Yeah, perhaps he was cautious on his previous effort. He can really hook it up this time around. Let's go over the curb on the inside for the right-hander. Good smooth exit. And it is a 57.5, almost a second faster. And he's in a different league. Look at almost 2 seconds faster than anyone else. With Morbidelli in second, Marquez in third, Liti second ahead of Olivia Passini, then Nakagami, Baldassari and Chirozzo Sabi round out the top 10 with Ika right at the back. Is McDonald on a MotoGP machine already? Let's find out in the race. As there we are, looking at a magnificent group of orange still at the top. Olivia once again in fifth in the middle of the second row. So maybe I have troubles getting into this first corner, trying to make moves up. Hopefully he doesn't do what the Mark VDS twins do on McDonald though. And himself. It's at first corners, looking further back. Got only going in 24th. Looks to rebound after Germany. The usual suspects right at the back. So here's Patrick McDonald revving up the engine once again, waiting for the lights to appear. And go out for this 6-lap race, a long race here in Brno. And a long run to the first corner. He's got a decent start. Can he hold it into this first corner? Not taking the inside, taking kind of a medium line there. And it looks like it's worked out for McDonald. He does hold on to the lead out the first couple of corners. Now can he hold it into the left-hander and not outbrake himself? So easy to do that. Braking a bit early. And oh, the Mark VDS train's almost into the back of him. As Morbidelli charges down the inside of Marquez for second. And Luti up to third of the Marquez. He really get pushed wide by his teammate, didn't he? So it's Morbidelli and Luti behind by around a second. As all McDonald goes very wide into the right-hander. And Luti up to second of Morbidelli. Thomas trying to play the Joker, should I say. Just that. Got a wild card amongst our mitts. But of course, we know he's going to drop back after a couple of laps. So we can't rely on him to take points off Morbidelli. Maybe hope Marquez or Oliveira can get their act together as the race goes on. But since central second lead for McDonald and into the final couple of sectors of the lap. Beautifully hooking up that right hand, and look at that. Hugged the apex all the way through it. And Morbidelli down to fourth behind Passini. Well, the Italian have another superb opening lap. He is turning into a first lap specialist. Matteo Passini. So we've got an unusual podium behind of Luti, 1.5 seconds behind McDonald. And then Passini in third. No Mark VDS bikes. Just to say that, Morbidelli gets back past Passini. The final couple of corners. But no Oliveira either. Is he just going to wait till the second of the race to turn up? Once again. So of course did the fastest at 2:02.7. Almost a 2-second lead on Luti. He's just having a Sunday ride around here in Brno. Track which he's very good around, but this good round? No doubt the stewards and Dorna will be looking at his bike after this race, checking it is not the KTM at MotoGP bike instead of the Moto2 one. As he's just faster everywhere than anyone else. And already has a comfortable cushion in this race. It goes into the left-hander. Gets a good exit. Good for the fans as well, spin out that wheel. Not good for the tyres, but they've already been worn in the last couple of races up to the halfway mark, but still lots of tyre. The final with that flag. This goes downhill. And for McDonald, if he wins with Morbidelli battling just to be on the podium, that could be roughly a race win lead over the Italian. And that's where it kind of starts to look slightly comfortable in the championship. That's why I'm with Morbidelli last season. Everyone having to catch up to him after a strong first half of the season. It could be happening with McDonald at this moment. He's 3.5 seconds ahead of Luti. Oliveira up to third of Morbidelli. That's even better for McDonald. That'd definitely be a race win lead. It's like a 58.9. He's going for pole times once again in the race. And he's 3.6 ahead of Luti. Could Oliveira make it a KTM 1-2 for the first time this season? He can! On his third lap, already up to second. Luti down to third. Where's Passini in this? Where's Marcus as well? They drop back having their own personal battle. We'll find out in a couple of laps time, but for McDonald, this is the perfect scenario with his teammate taking points off Morbidelli. And for KTM as well having a 1-2. Yes, there is Morbidelli up ahead of Luti at the end of the first sector. And up into second, no, ahead of Oliveira. Oh, Miguel, what are you doing? As he just continues third. Finishing third every race streak. He's done that 2 or 3 races in a row now. Ever since McDonald has joined, he's just finishing third. Not sure he's quite getting the being the second rider in the team motto. Means second, not third. Got Brad Binder to finish third. And he's struggling to score points. So can't rely on him, but Oliveira very strong second half of races. Not in the first half, he's showing as he's dropped behind Thomas Luti, who's not dropping back in it, it's like. It's up for a battle, old Thomas, for the podium. As we approach the second half of this race. And look at that, he's up for a battle for second. Ahead of Morbidelli. They must have a train behind. They're doing a conga line. And I think it's Luti's time to lead heading into the second half of this race. With another fast at 58.6. Absolutely ridiculous pace at the front of this field. 5.7 ahead of Luti. Too comfortable for him at the moment. Then he showed this in Moto3, of course. That streak in the second half of the season. Winning almost every race apart from Silverstone, I think it was, off the top of my head. To grab that title at a canter, and he's doing it once again at Moto2 level. There's Oliveira up to second ahead of Morbidelli. The conga line is changing all the time. No, Morbidelli wants the lead. They're told to back off. This is Luti up to third ahead of the Portuguese rider once again. Once again, where is Marquez in this? Where's Passini? There's someone else trying to get into the mix. Like a Baldassari or Bagnaia or Marini. For McDonald, just in a beautiful rhythm. Look at that, they're not even bothering to update now. In the bottom left, that's how far in front he is. He's looking very good for the championship, especially if Luti gets back into second ahead of Morbidelli. And he drops off the podium behind Oliveira. So if someone gets past for second, they seem to get past for third as well. Seems to be a double teaming going on. So that'll be something to keep an eye on the final lap. If someone grabs second to see that person finish off the podium. So if Morbidelli's in second and then onto the final lap, we'll be very happy. As we go on to the penultimate lap now. McDonald once again with a 58, is it? 59 flat. Very poor lap from him. He's slacking. There's Stefano Manzi. The Italian. He's done that quite often. Crashing out. And he's doing it again from 25th on his VR46 machine. Not having a bad race for him, but overall, he wanted to be much better. He wanted to be up there with his teammate Bagnaia. Just not showing the pace. Just not able to get it together at Moto2 level so far. Well, McDonald definitely is. And probably even thinking of MotoGP now. In the second half of this season, contract talks start to happen. And contract stalks as well. The sort of riders in the paddock and the managers. So I want to see what Patrick McDonald will do then next season. It definitely probably will be MotoGP, but where? Could it be on the factory KTM effort? I'm sure they'd love to have him back if he wins this Moto2 crown. But then they have to drop either Bradley Smith or Paul Espargaro maybe. Or they expand to a free bike effort full time, as they've had Mika Kallio be a wild card. 3 races. So that could be a possibility. With someone with McDonald's talent, why wouldn't you? Let's go into the left hand and through the right. Now we approach the final lap of this race. As I've been suggesting, McDonald could maybe go to Mark VDS, where Marquez rides for the time being, and he'd come alive on this final lap. And penultimate lap, but up into third ahead of Luti. No Morbidelli on the podium, an 8.7 second lead for McDonald over his teammate Oliveira in second. Luti down to fourth, Morbidelli in fifth. This would be probably the best result McDonald could dream of, apart from Morbidelli scored no points, but it's very highly unlikely from the Italian. He's very consistent. Seeing Oliveira up there in second, Marquez in third. Marquez up to second out of Oliveira. Battle of Portugal and Spain happening. And Spain winning. Mark VDS winning. For once, could it be actually a draw in the Mark VDS KTM battle? No, KTM have got the upper hand now. With McDonald. And also Oliveira ahead of Morbidelli and Marquez in most races. Might be reversed in the Marquez Oliveira battle. In the McDonald Morbidelli battle, it got settled on the first lap, first corner. Let's see. We're going to the final part of this race. It's been a breeze for Patrick McDonald. Once again, almost said the other McDonald. The retired McDonald. This is the new wave of McDonald's. He's definitely loving it. On the KTM, here's Patrick McDonald, as he's just got a couple of corners to go for another victory. 6th in a row, his 4th on the KTM. still keeping at a 100% record, but will it be a 1-2 for KTM as Marcus battling Oliveira behind? Oh, and Luti up to third. Thomas, he's kept around for the whole race as he grabs a podium as well on the Interwetten machine. We're looking in the background to see who's on the podium. He has almost a second of Passini with Baldassarri fifth, Bagnaia sixth, Luti in third, Marquez in second, McDonald with the fast lap and winning by a country mile of almost 9 seconds. We've got Marini in seventh. We've got the guys we predicted would be right up there. We're battling for the top 5. And look at Brad Binder at 8th on the KTM. Said he's struggling to score points. Well, look at that. He's ahead of Miguel Oliveira. He's down in 12th. With Simone Corsi in 9th on the speed up. Got the Tech 3 of Remy Gardner and 11 behind Axel Pons. He's the top Tech 3 rider, isn't he? This is a strange result. With Shorter in 13th top suitor, Morbidelli in 14th. Just a second ahead of Dominicato, 16th, who was just over half a second behind Fabio Corto, who grabbed the final point. What an unusual result of Manseen in last. Nakagami in 32nd. So the championship has been transformed after that race, with Franco Morbidelli finishing so low down. He's now a race win and a half back, 37 points behind Patrick McDonald, just 11 ahead of his teammate Alex Marquez, with Miguel Oliveira almost 3 race wins behind, 70 points behind his teammate in 4th, with Matteo Passini and Thomas Lutti tied for 5th, 98 points. Back, it has really played into Patrick McDonald's hand, this result in Brno, with Baldassarri in 7th, Bagnaia 8th, Sabi 9th, Nakagami rounds out the top 10 with Corto up to 12th ahead of Dominic Agata. Brad Binder up to 16th of that fantastic result ahead of Remy Gardner, who's also climbing up the order. So is Marcel Schrotter with Danny Kent, Sandro Cortese and Isaac Vanellis all dropping down. Looking further back, you got Edgar Pons up ahead of Axel Bassani for 27th with Andrea Cortelli at the back. So in the constructors stand and Calix, they still only lost 5 points to KTM. They're 40 points ahead of the Austrian constructor, with Tech 3 in third, 25 points ahead of Suter, 16 points ahead of Speed Up. And yes, I'm very happy. Patrick McDonald is just going all his way, with Luti very happy to be back in the podium pen alongside Marquez. And a perfect weekend once again, and another perfect episode. Patrick McDonald is flying on the Red Bull KTM IO, and he'll be heading to their home race next time around the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg, and then to the fast Silverstone circuit in Great Britain, before he has to make another decision for the team he wants to choose for the final 6 races of the season. Let me know who he should choose down below, if he should stick with KTM or should he switch to maybe another constructor, even Tech 3 or Speed Up, or to another Calix team. But I hope you enjoyed Patrick McDonald flying once again. Southwatch, and I'll see you next time.